Welcome back, YouTube fans. This is my review of the robot Damashii RX-78 Gundam. Now, this one has had several versions of it, but we're going to be looking at the anime version. Anime, in this case, being an acronym for the joint system that they created to make it look and act more like the anime. Now, with this one, this is the RX-78-1 Prototype Gundam, and this is the RX-78-2, which is the titular Gundam from the series. But also we'll be doing the FA-78-1 Full Armor Gundam, which is, again, the exact same mobile suit, just with different color schemes on. Now, the numbers on these are for the Full Armor 210, the prototype is 224, and the original is 192. So, let's take a look at the boxes first. As you can see, this is the original Gundam. Side shows some of the effect parts. It's got this film strip thing going down the sides here, which it's an okay thing, but it also shows off the posability. And there's a side shot, of course. The top and bottom are pretty standard. One thing to draw attention to, though, is here. It has a showing of all the little parts that come, a Vulcan gun firing effect for the head, a bar that's used to store all the hands, which is a nice addition, thrusters that can be put on either the backpack or the feet, and an energy discharge for the beam rifle, which is a really nice addition to this kind of line. Effect parts like that really add a lot. Now we go on to the 210 Full Armor Gundam. Now with this one, it is effectively the same, but comes with a lot more parts. As you can see, top and bottom are pretty standard. Side shows the Gundam. This side shows the effect parts, which it has a ton more. And on the back here, you can see the articulation. It has the standard Gundam without the armor, all of the weapons loaded onto it, etc. And finally, the prototype Gundam box, you can see here with the background being the white base interior set that Robot Damashii released previously. I'm not sure if this is the actual toy or just a photo of the concept art, but either way, it looks pretty impressive for the cover of the box, and I really like this kind of cover. I'm not as big a fan of these ones that show the figure inside with only a little silhouette here of what it looks like. I like these concept ones. They're a lot nicer, and I think it's a really good idea. But as you can see, top and bottom, pretty standard. Side has the Gundam. Back panel shows off the parts, including the fact that the effect parts work with the other two I've shown, and that it can mount the Full Armor Gundam parts. So that's a nice thing to have on the box, showing that the effect parts and the armor from the Full Armor Gundam can be used. Anyway, let's get to the review. So here we have the three Gundams. Now, as you can see, these mechs are pretty much identical in every way, save for their color scheme. The knees bend in the same way, foot, etc. all have the same joint system, which gives it a lot more flexibility and posability than previous ones. The joints here all move. There's even a secondary wrist joint here, which is a really nice touch. And I also like the fact that it's got these little hard points that can be used to mount things. For example, there's one on the back here. Got to be a little careful with this. That can be used to mount either the beam rifle or the bazooka. There's a hard point on each side of the arms for the shield, one here and one on the other arm, as you can see. And it's a really good figure all around. The head moves up and down at a nice angle so you can get good shots for like kicking action, or if it needs to fly through space like this, which was frequently done in the series. Either way, it's a really good figure and has lots of articulated motion. But all three of these figures are in fact the exact same design, the only variation being color change between them. As you can see here with the full armor, the parts slide right off this one and slides right onto this one. No problem there at all. And the same is true of the rest of its armor plates. All of them can be plastered onto this mobile suit. each one having lots of play value on their own, but it's the parts themselves that make these ones particularly worth getting, particularly the prototype and the full armor, and I'll show you why. So what we have here with the RX-78-2 is Amuro's Gundam from the original Gundam series. It comes with the bazooka, pretty standard. The handle can move back and forth a little, as can this little propped here, but I'm not really sure what this is supposed to do. The bazooka is one of the weapons used frequently early on, but later on the beam rifle became the go-to weapon. There is, of course, the handbar, which is a nice addition that I think all figures with multiple hands should have. There's also this little clip that goes on the inside of the shield here at the top to be able to clip the beam rifle 2 through this little port here, as you can see. Now, one of my complaints about this series is, although it comes with effect parts like these thrusters, which can be fitted here into the backpack to make a little thruster effect, or into the foot as well, is that while it comes with 2 of these, you've got about 6 points for thrusters on this mobile suit and some of the others. So you'd need basically several sets. Now, the nice thing is some of the other mobile suits come with these, but the problem is they don't come with all of them. So you're going to be a few parts shy. Now, if you're willing to, I recommend the GM for that because it comes with lots of parts. So there's plenty to spare. But one problem I do have is with this Gundam. I'll show you in a few minutes, but some of the effect parts that specifically work for this are sold with other figures. For example, this damage shield comes with the Dom mobile suit. Why it comes with the Dom is fairly obvious, because if you have seen Gundam, you know that there is a famous scene of the jet stream attack, where the enemies are attacking and they use the shield as a feint. They slice through it and they think he's behind the lower half when he's in fact above the upper half and jumped into the air with it when they sliced. But the thing is, these shields, they're terrible. Throughout the first good half of the series, if not for most of the series, those shields get sliced and diced more often than not. So the shield's effect is kind of synonymous with these Gundams. But it's also a way to, encourage people to buy other ones. Several of the other parts, like the Gundam Hammer, a weapon used so few times that it's barely noticeable, is sold with one of the aquatic mobile suits. So, yeah, it's a bit of a way to sell more toys. I'm not very fond of that gimmick, but it's there for anyone who does wish to buy it. Now, as you can see here, this little half circle, well, it's more like 3/4 of a circle clip, will clip the bazooka onto the Gundam's backside, giving it the option of carrying both its beam rifle and the shield, or if you have another one of these Gundams, a second bazooka. Another nice addition is these beam sabers pop out. Unlike the original RX-78 from the Mobile Suits in Action, or MSIA series, the beam sabers on the first one didn't come out. They were permanently part of it. Plus, the suit turned out to be slightly smaller than some of the later versions of this. Another one I had the same kind of features this did. More articulation, removable beam sabers, even a removable head and damaged shoulder and leg part for that famous scene from the end of the Gundam series. Another nice thing is these effects like the beam shot that comes out of this one. It's quite nice to have some sort of firing beam effect that goes here, since the beam weapons are the thing that makes the Gundam so much better than the other mobile suits it fights in the original series. They're all armed with kinetic weapons like bullets and explosives, while it has beam weapons that cuts through them like a turkey. Now, these parts can be used with the beam sabers as well, so you can have one with an extendedly round bottom here before the beam emission, or you can use the standard one. This beam saber I'm holding is extra long, mainly for the mobile suit to hold it double-handed and use this big slashing effect, which is also a really nice extra to have. Plus, there's these little Vulcan bits, which you can pull off this one, which is hard plastic, and replace it with this one, which is the softer plastic. I'm not as big a fan of soft plastic ones like these, because the paint tends to chip off them. But because of what this effect is, I can understand why it's soft plastic. It's all just one piece of clear plastic painted that way so that you can get those clear effects without them having to use multiple small pieces. But otherwise, it's pretty good. And this is actually one of the better Gundam toys that I've seen. I've also seen the original model kit, or at least a model kit of this one. That's pretty good, but it doesn't have this much articulation or the posability. So, take it or leave it, but this one is a solid, strong figure, and I highly recommend it. But otherwise, you can use these ones any way you like it. There's a lot of options. You can clip the shield or use the hand grip, and you can pull it off like this so it doesn't get in the way. You can choose to have the Vulcans on or the beam sabers in their holsters or in his hand. Other way, it's a really good, strong figure, just lacking a lot of the parts that later figures have, and I'll show you what I mean. Now let's move on to the -1 Prototype Gundam. Now, this one has an odd place. I have seen a lot of different versions of this unit. There is this one, of course, which is one that I've seen quite a lot, but there is also one where these parts here and here were different colors, yellow and green respectively. And it was called something else, usually real type Gundam, which, quite honestly, yellow and green, black and red, really don't strike me as good colors for a military unit. The black and white, though, do. I mean, this looks like something you'd see in a military unit. Pretty simple. The original Gundam that we looked at before is what's called parade colors, frequently. But let's get down to it. Now, this one is basically identical to the previous one with a few exceptions. For one, it comes with a lot more parts, but also some different ones. For example, this beam rifle is a different model, as you can see. But it also has this little carry attachment here, which the rifle can clip into, which is a nice addition. It also doesn't have the same back plate here, so clipping the bazooka is a little different. It involves popping that plate out, which is a bit of a hassle, so I'm not going to do that right now. Otherwise, the figure is basically identical to the other one. I'll show you the back plates just to give you an idea. Otherwise, this back plate and this are the same except for the center piece, and that's the one bit that's different. It's a minor issue, though. Now, with this one, it comes with a little decal sheet, as you can see here. There's a bunch of neat decals you can put on, but I kind of like the plain color one. No extra stuff on top of it, just plain, simple, uncluttered. If I had a second one of these, I might use the decals, but otherwise, I kind of like it like this. Then we've got the bazooka, same as the other one, except this one has the extra parts, as you can see here. With these, you can just clip them together like so. To have a rocket firing out of the bazooka and a little plume of smoke coming out the back here, as there is a small hole in the back for it and little groove lines to properly connect the trail to the bazooka. There, as you can see. So it's a nice effect part. Otherwise, it's identical to the other one. It has 3 beams, 2 regular beam sabers, the one with the bulging end meant to be used with the beam rifle or the saber, and the one where it's bending. It has the extended stock beam saber, the hands and the bar, the small piece here. It also comes with a little different part than the other one because of some reason, which eludes me, to be quite honest. But it's meant to go on its back, ironically enough. It's a small black piece here. Sorry. This is meant to be used with the Gundam hammer. It's basically a ball and chain with a little pike. I don't know why this is here, but you can basically clip this in here to have somewhere to store it, but why you would store that on the back of your Gundam is just kind of weird. At least to me. I never really liked the ball and chain as a weapon you would carry around with it, but, I mean, for everyone, there's different tastes. Now, something I should mention that I didn't on the previous one is there is a small peg hole here on the bottom, just underneath, that you can put most stands into. This is one that I bought separately. It's not part of the default set. But it's really useful, and I recommend these if you can get them. Stands like this can save you a lot of time having to worry about moving them around and keeping them upright, because sometimes with all these weapons, they will fall. But it has the thrusters, as well as the Vulcan piece, so it's a nice one, plus it comes with a lot of extras. If you're planning to get one of the RX-78s, this one is a good one if you just want some of the more exotic weapons like the hammer or the missile firing effect. But if you want something even cooler, the next one is the one I strongly recommend getting. Now here we have the full armor Gundam, as you can see. Now this one is one of my favorite Gundam designs. I used to have the MSIA version of this, and it was really a lesser version in many ways. The shoulder armor as well as the feet could not be changed, and the backpack it came with was really a cut down version. No beam saber storage or anything. This is identical to the other ones. The only thing is the armor, like this piece, slides off it and clips together to form a seal. The same is true of the leg armor, as well as the waist and other parts. Now I recommend getting a stand for this one if you can get one, because this one's a bit on the heavy side, especially the back. This gun here tends to cause it to fall over sometimes. It can be put forward like so, but I kind of like it in the back position stowed. But that's just me. Now, this one, too, comes with a lot of parts. It has the standard 2 beam sabers, as well as the extended grip one. You get the bazooka, this one in green this time, as well as your hand tree rack. And not only do you get the standard 2 beam sabers, the curved beam saber, and the one with a single bulge at the end for a single shot, it also comes with a double one like that for its double-barreled heavy beam cannon, as you can see. So a pretty cool addition. Plus, the nice thing is you can put the single beam in there as well, so you can have it firing 1 or 2 shots. It does come with the shield, this one green, and it also comes with the Vulcan effects. And a beam rifle. It's also got the obligatory clip for the shield back here, so you can clip the beam rifle to it, and the clip for the back to put the bazooka on. Speaking of which, it's slightly different. It's this big panel that flips up, which is, in my opinion, a lot easier than the other two, which is why this is my more recommended set. Not just for that, but the effect parts that come with it. It comes with the standard 2 thrusters, of course, but it also comes with this effect for the launcher, so you can have it firing a missile out of its cannon on its shoulder, but you also get other effect parts. This was something I was not aware of, and I'm not sure if it was really true in the original series, but this thing's loaded with missiles as well. The panels on its legs and shoulder pop open, and you can add missile effects to them. You can either clip these small orange ones right here onto this pad to give you 2 missiles on each leg joint like this, or, and this is the much cooler part and why I recommend this, you have them firing out like this. So it's a really cool add-on. You also have the same thing. There's a 3 missile one here, as you can see. It clips onto the shoulder, or, and this is also, as I said, very cool, you've got 3 missiles being launched out of here. Now you have to be a little careful with this one because of the head antenna, but you can get it in. Oops. As you can see, the shoulder armor slides right off there. But it's a really cool effect, and it gives this mobile suit more of a fully armed and ready look, but also gives you a lot of options for diorama displays and other such. So this Gundam of the RX-78 is the one I strongly recommend getting first if you're a collector of this kind of stuff. If you have a choice between any of them, the full armor version is definitely the best buy of them, followed by the prototype version and then the original. I'm sorry to say, the original just doesn't have as much in it. There is another version of it by Robot Damashii, but that one, although it comes with lots of parts and has hard points, I never got it, so I cannot say how good it is compared to these ones. The only part I've seen that it has that these ones do not is for the beam rifle. It has a little stock extension for the front that has, I think, a grenade launcher on it, and it has like a magazine of 4 grenades, and you can clip all the parts to it in some way, shape, or form. But as I said, these ones with the anime joint system just work far, far better, and are a much better buy for any serious collector. Even if you don't buy the figures normally and you're just a modeler, these ones are excellent for extra mobile suits to have in, or if you just want something a little more posable for a diorama, especially with the effect parts for the missiles on the full armor. But all in all, I'd say that these are excellent figures and well worth getting, especially, as I said, these two. This one is more if you can get it at a good price. Either way, that's my review, and I'll see you guys next time. Please like, subscribe, and comment below and share this video. And I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!